In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a BTO that will be launched in Ang Mo Kio Avenue 2 for June 2026. Now, this project is kind of small because it only has 480 units of 3-room and 4-room flats. But then in terms of the on-site facilities, it's actually quite stunning because they will have an eating house, a mini mart, several shops, preschool, and also residence network center. Another notable thing about this project is apparently the construction has begun in September 2025, and this project is scheduled to be completed in 2030. So meaning that this project is part of the shorter waiting time program, which will be good if you want to get your keys as soon as possible. Now, in terms of classification, my guess is that this project will be a plus. Why? Because it's located in a mature town, but then it's a little bit further away from MRT station. Now, speaking about MRT station, the nearest MRT station is Mayflower, and according to Google Map, it's about 850 meters away. However, some audience commented on my channel is that if you take the shortcut, actually it should not be that far. The person said probably it's about maybe 5 to 8 minutes walking. I don't know for sure, but looking at the map, yeah, probably if you take the shortcut, it will be much faster to the Mayflower MRT station. Now let's talk about the location. Okay, so this is the map that HDB gave. As you can see, this is the land plot next to the panorama condo. So if we look at Google Map, I believe that this is the land plot. And as you can see, it is within walking distance, I guess, to Mayflower Market and Food Center. If you just bypass this HDB block, MRT is over here. So probably, yeah, if you cut through the road here from these HDB blocks, then you will be able to get to the Mayflower MRT station even sooner. Now, this land plot is also quite close to the CHIJ St. Nicholas Girls School, which I believe will be a good selling point if you have young children and you want to put them here, or if let's say you want to sell your flat after MOP, this will be a good selling point. Now, if we look at the land plot, so this part is facing high-rise residential building, right? This part also, but this part is facing low-rise building. So I'm guessing that if you manage to get a medium or high floor, you will be able to get unblocked view. Assuming that you manage to get a block that is facing this Thompson Hill area. This part is a condo, so your view will be blocked. Yeah, so it seems that your best bet to get unblocked view is only if you face this Thompson Hill area. Now, in terms of potential resale value later down the road, if we look at the map, the nearest HDB to the land plot are kind of old. So according to Google, as you can see here, the lease year started in like 1980s, so definitely it will not be your direct competitor if you want to sell your unit later on, because even though these are only standard flats, but then again, they are kind of old, right? Which means that even though these surrounding HDB are only subjected to 5-year MOP and standard restrictions, but then again, because of their age, they are not really your direct competition when you want to sell your BTO later after MOP. Now, in terms of school options, as you can see on the map, there are several primary and secondary schools nearby. So that's a good use for families with young children. For example, you have the Mayflower Primary School over here, and then you also have another primary school here, Ang Mo Kio Primary School, and even actually Aitong is here, but it's a little bit further away. If you want to be nearer to Aitong School, then you can opt for the other Ang Mo Kio BTO that is nearer to Amo residence. It is also being launched in June 2026. Now, I have discussed that project in a separate video, so if you are interested to know more about that project, please check out my other video also in this channel. Now, let's talk about what are the pros and cons of this location. What I like about this spot is that it seems to be within walking distance to MRT station, especially if you just bypass the next door HDB blocks. And then I also appreciate that this project will be part of the shorter waiting time program. As mentioned by HDB in their press release, apparently they already started construction in September 2025, And this particular BTO is scheduled to be completed in the first quarter of 2030. So that's quite near. And then I also appreciate that it is near top school, which is the CHIJ St. Nicholas Girls School, which means that it will help families with young children, but also it is good for your future resale value if you want to sell your flat later on. And then because this project is located in Ang Mo Kio town, which is a mature town, you can be rest assured that this project will have a strong resale value later on, especially when you look at the map. The neighboring HDBs are kind of old, like launched in the 80s or something like that. So even though this project will be subjected to the 10-year MOP and other strict restrictions such as income ceiling for future buyer, etc., but then again, because your competitors are kind of old buildings, you will still be able to get good amount when you sell your flat later on. That's what I am predicting. I also appreciate that this project, even though it's kind of small, only 480 units, but it has a lot of on-site facilities, including an eating house, a mini mart, several shops, preschool, and also residence network center. I also appreciate that this project is within walking distance to some amenities such as Mayflower Market and Food Centers, Shengshong Supermarket, can also walk to McDonald's. There are also several other restaurants and shops nearby. Of course, if you want more amenities, you can simply take the MRT or take bus ride to other parts of Singapore. Another upside about this project is that there is one side that is facing landed housing estate. So at least certain blocks will be able to get unblocked view for medium up to high level floors. Now, on the other hand, what don't I like about this project? Well, the fact is, this is the smallest project in the batch. If you compare with other project being launched in this June 2026, this means that you will have stiff competition and then you will also have less price benchmark when you want to sell your flat later on. Another downside is that this particular project does not have any turun flexi, which is not a good news for seniors and singles. If you still want to apply for Ang Mo Kio Town and you want a turun flexi, it is doable, but then it will be accommodated by the other Ang Mo Kio project, which is located in Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1. But for this particular site in Kebun Baru, this one don't have any turun flexi. Another downside, I am predicting that this project will have high entry price because it is subjected to plus restrictions, meaning that it doesn't get subsidy as much as if it is a prime project. And then another watch out is that for low floors on certain blocks, you might encounter noise and pest problems because there will be an eating house, mini mart, and several shops on site. So be very careful when you want to choose your unit later on. Of course, another downside is that this project comes with strict restrictions, but I think that comes to no surprise for people who are applying for BTO nowadays. Another watch out is that because there are two projects that is being offered in Ang Mo Kio for this June 2026 launch, you have a ballot risk because it will depend on your queue number. The way that it works is that you will be called to the HDB office, right, depending on your queue number. And then which project you can pick will depend on what's still available during your appointment. So this project in Ang Mo Kio Avenue 2 is slightly closer to the MRT station, so probably this will be more popular versus the other one. But to be honest, I think both Ang Mo Kio projects are kinda still neck and neck in terms of their pros and cons. So I wouldn't worry too much because whether you get this plot or the other plot, it's still a solid choice either way. So let's do a recap. In summary, I believe that overall, this is still a very solid option if you want to live in a mature town and still relatively within walking distance to MRT station. Based on how the government already mentioned this project in the media in the early 2026, even before it was officially announced, this indicates that even the government think that this project will be the crowd's favorite. This project does tick a lot of boxes in terms of distance to MRT station, school options, it is located in a mature town, strong resale potential, etc. So I think this is indeed a good option. However, please take note that there's only 470 units in this development. It's not much, and even the other Ang Mo Kio project is also not that much, which means that you can expect the application rate for Ang Mo Kio town in this upcoming June 2026 will be quite high, so the competition will be a bit fierce. The resale value for this project, I think, will be better versus the other Ang Mo Kio project, simply because the surrounding of this Kebun Baru site is surrounded by older HDB, so they will not be your direct competitor. Now, if you want to know what are the potential BTO plots that will be launched in Ang Mo Kio town later down the road, please check out my other video, because I made a separate video trying to predict based on URA master plan which other plot in Ang Mo Kio might be the future BTO location. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.